Good evening, I'm Colgan, and you're welcome to this week's edition of the Business and Enterprise Show, Ireland's only live web-based TV business programme. And my guest tonight is Anna Costello. Anna, you're very welcome to the programme.
Thank you, Colm, for having me.
And first of all, congratulations, 10 years in business today.
Yes,
and there was
today.
a big champagne presentation arranged, but you said, no, we're going to appear on the Business and Enterprise Show instead, so thank you for that.
Exactly, of course.
Now, before we start talking about your businesses, tell us a little bit Anna Costello.
Well, I'm originally from Cavan, O'Neill from Cavan. I'm 21 years married, so living in Ballyhaise for the last 21 years to Seamus Costello. And I have three teenage daughters. Emma, she's 18, and Katie and Laura, 15 and 14. So busy.
And always been in the beauty industry?
No, I was in the construction industry for almost 10 years. I worked for...
Well, you must be the best looking builder I've ever seen.
No, I was a purchasing officer. I did accounts and payroll as well for James Elliott Construction in Virginia. Before that, actually, I worked for my sister Margaret from Serendipity, who has a bridal hire and dress company in Virginia. So I did a year with her, and then I moved to Elliott's for 10 years. Before I gave up work when my third child was born and decided to be a stay-at-home mum for 2 years. And then I went back to college to study beauty therapy, always with a view to opening my own business.
Which you did, and called it Utopia.
I did, yes. I was sitting at a computer typing up my thesis in May 2003, and I got a phone call after many meetings and badgering and hunting to say that we had been accepted by Cavan Crystal. Our offer had been accepted, and I opened in July 2003.
So you started with a beauty salon in Cavan Crystal.
That's right.
Now you said that your proposal was accepted, so obviously that was the plan. You had a plan. I want to open a salon A, and B, I want it in a classy hotel like the Cavan Crystal. And and you put your proposal to them. Was that the plan?
No, it wasn't actually like that. It didn't happen like that. I had a business partner initially. We used to go to aerobics together, and she had a beauty background. I had the business background, and I was opening anyway. So I decided to approach Cavan Crystal. I asked her would she be interested in coming into business with me, and she said yes. So it was a great relationship. And we had approached Cavan Crystal several times while we were pushed back, and no manager was available, blah blah. But we went to the beauty show in Dublin. We bought all our equipment on my credit card, and said, look, we're going to open somewhere. So if Cavan Crystal didn't take us on, we were coming to Cavan anyway. We looked at a lot of premises in Cavan that would have been options, but thankfully Cavan Crystal came back, and they initially showed us a room on the lower ground floor, which is where the hairdressers is at the moment, but there was no growth potential, so we said no. And then they came and said, look, we have this space in the attic, would you just be interested? And the only thing is there are no windows. And we said, well, that's perfect, because in the beauty industry we'd only be closing them up. So we got air conditioning in, and there 10 years later. Yeah.
Now, why a hotel? What was the advantages and I assume the disadvantages of opening in a hotel as opposed to the high street?
Well, for me, there was definitely no disadvantages. Originally, yes, you would have been a little bit apprehensive, would people travel out? But I think if you're very good at what you do, people will travel anyway. And you only have to look at Neville Maguire's restaurant in Black Lion. I mean, if you cross the hills and mountains of Black Lion for dinner, and maybe lose it on the way back up, passing sheep on the way, you go anywhere. So, and a mile outside Cavan or less that you can actually walk to wasn't really that high a risk. There's an huge amount of benefits from being in the hotel. First of all, there's no paid parking, which was a huge bonus initially, and still would be. But there's a privacy element, because you can come in the back of the hotel, you can come in the front, and nobody will know where you're coming from, where you're going to. So it's very, very private. We would have had quite a bit of trade initially from the hotel, so it was a great starting point, whereas now 80% of our clients are non-residents, so we have a lot of the local market, which we're very, very happy to have, you know. But like clients that are with us for over the 10 years, like, you know.
Now, if you had have opened up a salon on Main Street in Cavan,
Yes.
people would be passing by and saying, Utopia, oh, I like to look at that, I'm going to go in and I'm going to try it.
Yes.
That's obviously not going to happen in the hotel, because people are not going to be passing by and see it. How do people get to know about you? In other words,
Well,
what was your business plan for getting customers in the door to know about you?
Well, believe it or not, Colm, word of mouth was always our best form of advertisement. Because we are very good at what we do. I'm absolutely
not
no, I
but
understand
you
that,
started
but
off,
still.
we say, from scratch. It's not that
Yes.
you used to work in heaven sent.
I understand,
And now
yes.
I'm taking all my cut and I'm
Yes.
going, nobody had heard about you before.
No.
Okay? So
Yes.
once they got in your door, they saw the fantastic work you could do. Great, they
Yes.
came back. But
Yeah.
how did you get people in the door?
Well, again, as I said, back then it was in 2003, so it was the beginning of the boom time, and
the
money
boom
was
times, I
plentiful,
remember that.
and people, yeah, exactly. But people were very willing to see what was new and what was different, and but I would say really our business probably took off in 2005 when we won the IBPA award, which is the Irish Beauty Professionals
The
Association.
Oscars of the Beauty Association.
Absolutely, and we have our monument and Our Lady to prove that. But that really changed our business overnight. I mean, you know, we featured in the front page Anglo-Celt, massive
Where else would you-
coverage.
where else would you?
Absolutely, yes, in fact. So that really changed, because we were the only salon in the whole county of Cavan to have an award from the IBPA, and we still actually are. So that's massive for us. Now we've gone on since, and you know, got lots of other accolades, and you know, and I think that's really, really important. Training is very important to us. Education is really, really important, and advancement, knowing your profession and staying on top of your game is really important for me as a
Yeah.
leader of a team of 15 people.
Just speaking of a team of 15 people, that was going to be one of the questions, how many do you have? Obviously, you have your customers and your clients' interest at heart, and you're on top of all the new
Yes.
products that are out there. How do you pass that along your team to all your members?
Well, you see, a lot of my team are with me years, like some of my core team. They would be with me 6-7 years, you know. And remember, I'm 10 years in business, and like I took over, I bought my partner out in 2008, just at the recession. She had a baby and she decided she didn't want to return, so that was you know, mutual agreement then at that stage. So really and truly, when the recession hit, it was sail the boat on your own kind of thing. So the measure of me was that I could actually stand up and do this.
And how did the recession hit? Obviously, when the recession did hit, a lot of people were looking at how do we cut back on some of our costs. And in fairness,
Yes.
beauty treatment for the female parts of the family
Yes.
would have been probably one of the things on the list. So were you affected in that way?
Well, no, because incidentally, you know, stats will tell you that an awful lot of men suffered there, you know, in the recession, but not so much the women, because women were still the ones going out and maybe the breadwinners, you know. Society changed so much in the last couple of years, and females out working, they do have, you know, a certain persona to maintain, you know, an image to maintain, and you know, when you're working, you are actually entitled to look after yourself and, you know, treat yourself. So I think it's justifiable, you know.
So have I met my first guest to the recession? Didn't affect that much, if even at all?
Not really. It didn't insofar as we worked harder for our custom. It was one of the drivers for me to go to Italy to source Bioline, the product range that we have, because I could see the change, and I knew that people, while they were still spending, they wanted more for their money. You know, they weren't spending foolishly, and I felt as a consumer myself that they were entitled to that. So I wanted to be on top of my game, and it was never for us to be followers. We were always leaders.
Yeah.
I never was one to follow trends. I always like to do things my way. And if it's the wrong way, well then sure you can look back and say, well,
Absolutely.
you've learned.
I
you
feel
know.
a song, you can break it, the song, I did it my way, where are you?
Oh, no, I don't
he's
know
dead,
that.
that's where he is. We'll come back to Bioline in the second half of the programme. But going back to Utopia, quite
Yes.
recently you've moved on from just beauty products to
Yeah.
a hair salon.
Yeah.
A beauty treatment,
Yeah.
I should say,
Yeah.
to a hair salon as well.
Well, Utopia.
Both in the Cabin
Cabin
Crystal.
Crystal, that's right, yeah. Utopia Health and Beauty Clinic, the skin specialist, it's on the 5th floor of the hotel from original. But the one room on the lower ground floor beside the gym, just literally off the gym, there was always a hairdresser there. Used to be a local girl. She married, moved on to Monaghan, and I was approached by the hotel last January, to see would I take it over, and I actually declined at that time because I was setting up my distribution and training company, and I said later on the year, if it's still available, we may go with it. So I was approached last September and asked would we take it over, and I said yeah, we'll give it a go and see how it goes, because my long-term plan included hair product distribution. So within the processes that I run my business, I wanted to have a flagship salon for the hair products. So I took over Utopia and rebranded Utopia Hair Experts and Barbers on the lower ground floor of the Cabin Crystal Hotel last October. Now, we dropped the barber end of it because I discovered, and that's what I said to you, I'm a leader, not a follower. I discovered that Cavan men weren't ready to sit in the same room as a woman and have their hot towel shave while there's a lady getting her hair cut beside them. So that might be, it might work in the cities. It doesn't work
I
here.
have no problem. Then again, I'm not really a cabin man. I've been told many a time before, money and I'll blow him. Now, the difference between running a hair salon and a beauty salon. I know from an outsider it must seem like the same, but I would imagine it's a different dynamic.
To be honest with you, Colm, I don't think there's a difference between running a butcher's, a hair salon, a beauty salon, or any sort of business. I think as a business owner, you just employ the right people, and the people are the difference. Because for me, I have managers in both the hair and in the beauty, and they're amazing people, and they have the skills. I mean, as a leader, I firmly believe, and I've learned it through the University of Ulster, where I done an advanced diploma in management practice with the Hatch programme, which is fully funded, by the way, for anybody who's a budding entrepreneur to discover. But that you don't have to be actually good at everything. You just have to know the right
Be
people.
good at picking the right people,
Yeah,
which
exactly.
obviously is something that you did
Yeah.
when you set up Newgenskin and are looking to do the Bioline products, which we will go into in detail after this short break.